Hey guys, this is OFDP, and as promised, this is the video series that I'm putting together for how to beat Jack and how to beat Marduk. And this is going to be the Jack section. I just want to give in this beginning video, I just want to give kind of a brief overview of Jack, general strategies for fighting him, some of the general things you're going to see from him, and just kind of a little introduction to who I am. So I guess we'll start with that. I am Zach OFDP Lang, member now of, I should say, Perfect Input OFDP. Shoutouts to my boys. I've been playing Tekken since probably right around the time 5.1 came out in the arcades, maybe a little bit before. I started on 5.0 in console. I was playing Brian. I played Brian all the way through DR, and I was really bad. Towards the end of DR, I started playing Marduk. And when I started playing Marduk, I actually started getting pretty good at the game. In T6, I ended up switching to Jack shortly after the game came out. And that's when I really started getting a lot better at the game. I switched to Jack because he was, on the surface, really easy. And it allowed me to kind of think more about what my opponent's doing and kind of level up my mind games and my own mental endurance, because I wasn't thinking so much about what I was doing, which was my problem in DR with Brian. I could do a lot of the high execution stuff like taunt jet upper and all the fancy stuff, but I would just end up worrying too much about that and just running into moves a lot. So I switched to Jack to kind of offset that. I ended up doing really well, and then in this game I obviously played Jack Marduk. I never stopped playing Marduk, I just never picked him in tournament in 6 because I didn't think he was very good. He had a lot of really bad matchups and a lot of just really bad... He just wasn't that good. But in this game I think he's very good, and I can go over why, the difference there in the Marduk section. But I did play a lot of Marduk money matches. That was kind of my specialty. I've always played against Marduk players, so I know a lot about Marduk. And because of all the time, and I've put a lot of time and thought into Jack, and especially against his bad matchups and the strategies that are really good against him. So I kind of know both of these characters from both angles. I know a lot about them, and I know a lot about how to beat them, and I wanted to share that with the community. It's all kind of started because my fellow teammates in Perfect Input were talking about character matchups, so I figured I'd do this video series for them as well as for everyone else who's having problems against Jack or Marduk. Alright, so to just kind of get started, I also wanted to end this video to give kind of a disclaimer. I don't have any kind of streaming equipment or capture card. I really just have my old video camera propped up on about 10 of my favorite novels from grad school, looking at the TV. So it's really kind of a makeshift podunk setup going on here. But hopefully you guys can look past that, look past the kind of, I don't know, shittiness of it all, kind of. And know that hopefully I'm going to try to make it so that I don't ramble too much and that I don't... You're going to have to sit through a lot of me messing around in practice mode probably. I'll try to keep that to a minimum because, again, I also don't have any video editing software. And I'm trying to get this done in sort of a hurry so I can practice for Guts, which is in less than a week now. So, to kind of get started, Jack is just a really good character. A lot of the things you're going to see from him, a lot of 2-jab pressure. Obviously a lot of people are familiar with his really good lows, down back 1, full crouch down back 1, down 4. Forward 1, the staple Jack mid, guarantees down back 2 on hit. Also gives a really good mix up if you decide to do forward 3. If you stand up, you can stand up and block it. If you lay there, you get hit. If you roll, you get bound. All that good stuff. So just a lot of really good moves. I'm going to go into a lot of specific punishment details and specifics about different moves in later sections, depending on where they correspond into his gameplay. I guess of all the places I'll talk about forward 1 here because it's not punishable and it doesn't necessarily get much talk in any of the other sections. So just kind of the one move you need to know about Jack is forward 1 because everyone that plays him knows that this is just his most spammable, just good move. And I kind of want to familiarize you all with that and what happens after you get hit by it and what happens when you block it. So when you block it, you're at +6. Jack is at -6 if you block forward, forward 1. But because of the distance created when you block it, so let's get him to stand guard. Alright, so a good amount, after he comes out of block stun, a good amount of distance is created here. So a lot of characters, unless they have a long-range counter-hitting move, like, for example, Jin forward 4. I believe it's forward 4. Really good option after this move, because if Jack does much of anything, he's going to get counter-hit, anything but block. But if your character doesn't have a far-reaching counter-hit move like that, the -6 can be, the +6 is kind of negated because you're forced to dash in if you want to kind of create any momentum. So that's why a lot of times you'll see Jack players do something like forward, forward 1, and then into down forward 2. On paper, it's not a very smart move, but because some people like to dash in after forward, forward 1 because of the space created, that's why down forward 2 works after that. So your best option is just to know you're at +6, and know if you have any kind of far-reaching safe moves that you can answer back with. Otherwise, you just got to be really careful about how you approach after that. If you find that they're chucking out a lot of down forward 2, obviously you can just block and punish. But the ball is in your court, you just have to be smart about it. And then, to go into forward, forward 1 on hit, there's kind of a mix-up. For one, down back 2 is always guaranteed. You can try to stand up or roll back to reduce the damage, but no matter what, you're going to get tagged by down back 2 if they decide to do it. And just to know, if you roll back, let's see, if you roll back or stand up, you'll get hit like that. And if you try to roll back again after that, it makes for a really, really easy back roll catch. So let me see if I can kind of give you an idea of that here. Stand. No, we want to. And this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Hopefully I won't have to do this too many times. We want a quick back roll. So there we go. So there we go. If you get hit by a down back 2 after trying to stand up and then roll back again, it makes for a piss easy back roll catch. I get a lot of people with that. So just so you know about that. Your other options, the other option that I use a lot is forward, forward 3. And that's kind of the, it just creates a lot of mix-ups for him because if you get hit grounded, so we're just going to have him stay on the ground. I don't know if I can set that up, but regardless, if you get hit on the ground, if you stay grounded and take the hit, it kind of resets the position, so that from there you either have to stand up or stay on the ground and roll or something. So if you try to stand up after you take that ground hit, you can get picked up and floated, or if you stay on the ground, you can get hit by another forward, forward 3, and it keeps resetting the situation. If you roll back, it'll actually bound you, and then if you stand up and block it, Jack is at +4. So no matter what option they do, forward, forward 3 is really good. And if they start realizing they can block the forward, forward 3 and try to quick stand every time, that's when you can start picking them up for a combo. So that's all the reasons why Jack's forward, forward 1 on hit is just really good and why everyone's going to be spamming it. So the way to get around forward, forward 1 is to sidewalk left, and sidestep and sidewalk left. And that's what you're going to find a lot of Jack's. So I guess that's how I can kind of transition into the general strategies for Jack. When Jack is standing, the best thing to do, besides just block, is sidestep left. A lot of his big go-to moves from standing get beat by sidestep left. So let's go to defensive training. Record some forward, forward 1. Record some dash up, down back 1. 2-1. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, so okay. So okay. Yep, there we go. Sidestep, sidewalk left, gets around forward, forward 1. I'm not doing this very good justice, but take my advice that sidewalk left gets around. Let's do this. This will make it a little easier. Jab forward, forward one. Alright. So you just sidewalk to the left, and that's going to get around a lot of his standing options. So in general, when Jack is standing, you want to sidestep to the left. When he's in full crouch, mostly after you, and this will be covered later, but when he's in full crouch, generally after you get hit by like a full crouch down back one, your best answer is to sidestep to the right. And that I'm going to illustrate in a whole section, so I'm not going to really show that off here, or in this case, probably fail at showing it off. That's its whole section, but in general, when he's in full crouch, you want to sidestep to your right. When he's standing, you want to sidestep to your left. Another general strategy, crush and don't block, specifically when it comes to his lows. Jack has too many lows that are safe, and that really can act as setups if you are expecting them to be blocked and attempted to punish. So an example of this is like, get Jack in down 4. Down 4 is a really, really good low from Jack. It's completely safe, it reaches really far, it's +2 on hit. If you block this from the wrong range and try to while standing 4, one backdash, sometimes you don't even have to backdash depending on what your character's range is. If you're trying to while standing 4 that, you're going to whiff and Jack can down forward to you. It's kind of the same with down back 1, or full crouch down back 1, it's a little harder. Because that doesn't have as much range. But I've done it before. I mean, you can get them to block that and then backdash. And if they while standing 4, you can down forward to them. So you really gotta, if you think Jack is going to go for a low poke, your best option is to just crush or low parry. I mean, in Jack, your best option is to know when to sidestep and sidestep the right way to get a launch, because otherwise you're not getting much damage. But if you have a hop kick and you think Jack is going for a low, you're way better off trying to crush it. Obviously, that's a lot easier said than done, but that's the general strategy you want to use. And is there anything else for generally? Jack's major weakness is rush down, specifically a rush down revolving around a safe 13 frame down forward one. So in my opinion, some of Jack's worst matchups are characters like Miguel. I think Miguel's probably on the top of the list. Lee, Martial Law, Armor King. Any character with a safe down forward one for applying pressure, because it's really, really hard for Jack to kind of maneuver around them. It's not impossible. Jack can sidestep and launch down forward one spam, but it's really tough. If the Jack player sidesteps and tries to launch too quickly, his hitbox gets too big and he gets hit by down forward one. And a lot of his faster moves to kind of stop that pressure are really linear. I mean, forward 2 is, not only is it really linear, but it's -12 on block, and it's high. He has 2 jab, but that's 11 frames. Unlike everyone else's jab, his jab is 11 frames. His only 10 frame option is that forward 2. He has down forward 4, which is one of his best tools for kind of stopping that rush down, but again, it's really linear. It's 12 frame mid, but it's just linear as hell. And then his last option is kind of down 2, just dick jab. I mean, you can do other things like full crouch down back 1, but his fastest options are those. They're all really susceptible to just getting sidestep and launch. So rushing down a Jack player is really the best kind of way to deal with him. If you give him his space and allow him to run his game on you, it makes it a lot easier. So your best bet is really just to stay in his face the whole time. Make him know the frames, make him know guess when you're going to step, make him have to work really hard. If you just kind of let him sit back and do what he wants, it makes the match a lot easier for Jack. Alright, so that I think about does it for the general wrap-up. Again, let me apologize now and for all in the future for any kind of rambling, any kind of shitty displays on here, since I'm not going to really have the time or the technology to go back and edit these. Maybe after Guts, one of my friends in the community that is a little more adept at this kind of stuff can help me kind of polish these up. But for now, hopefully you're just going to be able to get the information you need out of these videos. So, on to the next one.